Hi, I'm Stuart from the Norfolk Honey Company and welcome to our workshop where today we're going to start with a fantastic new season-long series of videos which is being sponsored by Honey Paw. Honey Paw are producers of Langstroth poly hives. We've got this fabulous stack of polystyrene equipment all ready to go. We're going to go through every stage from building the hives to painting the hives, all the way through to making up frames. We've got some interesting pieces of equipment to show you, all of the range that Honey Paw have. And of course you can buy that not just here in the UK, but worldwide. So do take a look at their website and I'll put lots of information down in the description to help you get to their website and have a look at all of the equipment. But essentially we're going to end up with 12 hives, 4 nukes. This is a nuke box and we've got 2 different types of frames that are going to go in. We've got a standard wooden frame and a plastic frame, which it's plastic, and obviously at the moment there's a lot of issues with plastics, but these are going to be reusable, and I've never used a plastic frame before, so it's going to be interesting to see how those go. And in fact the Honey Paw Langstroth poly hives are such that we've already produced one series of videos for Happy Valley Honey. Paul Beardmore at Happy Valley Honey very kindly supplied us with a range of the products that he sells in the UK, and we were so impressed with them that we're now converting over a lot of our apiaries to the Honey Paw Polystyrene Langstroth hives. Again, I know poly hives are a contentious issue. There's lots of people out there that would prefer to use wooden hives, but with the advent of the modern processes, these are high density polystyrene hives, 100 grams per litre, which is kind of currently the best out there on the market. They're really hard wearing. We've got other poly hives, and as I say, we've already used some of the Langstroth hives in the last couple of seasons. Initially I was concerned about the wear on them, but they've held up really well, and because personally I've got a bad back issue, the lightness of these hives compared to some of the heavier kit that we've got really makes a difference for me. So if you're looking to start beekeeping, if you're interested in getting going this season, then you're at the right place, because we're going to start from scratch. We're going to build all of this equipment, and in the coming series of videos we'll show you the individual component parts. You can see that we've got great big piles of them. We're going to start by making up some of these boxes, then we're going to paint them, get them out to the apiaries and set up a brand new apiary before bringing in new bees to populate all of these hives. So I hope you'll join us for the entire series, but today we're going to start by putting together some of the brood boxes and supers, probably some of the nuke boxes. We've got 4 nuke boxes to build, and we'll show you how simple that really is. And if you want to get started this year, then I highly recommend the Honey Paw Poly Langstroth hives. So let's get a couple of the components out, talk about what we're doing and show you how easy it is to build. So to start with today, I'd like to show you the Nucleus box, the Honey Paw Poly Langstroth nuke box. And this is one that we purchased last year and made up over the late summer, going into the winter, ready for use, and actually we ended up not using it. But it's great to be able to show you one that's already made, and this is what you're aiming to end up with once you've finished the construction. So that's our finished product, and when you buy one, what you'll get is a floor. So again, these are all high density polystyrene, really lightweight. What's great is that they have a sloping floor. It's not an open mesh floor, so it's just a solid floor, but that's perfectly fine as well. We've currently got bees overwintering really strongly on these nuke boxes. An entrance which slots in at the front the construction on these Polystyrene Langstroths, the Honey Paw Hives, is absolutely brilliant. And it's brilliant because the guys at Honey Paw have spent years refining the hives and making them perfect for beekeepers. I hear a lot of people say, I wish that the designers of this piece of kit or that piece of kit had spoken to some beekeepers about it before they made it. Well, Honey Paw and the guys at Honey Paw are beekeepers, so they know exactly what they're looking for when they've made this stuff. So this is the frame runner, and you might find that when you get it, it comes as one solid runner, or you might find if you're ordering it in the UK that if you buy it from Happy Valley Honey, Paul may have cut them into 2 runners to fit into the sides. I can't quite remember whether it comes as just the 1 runner. Either way, you just need a small hacksaw blade to measure and cut that to length. So let's just get rid of that one. We've got our 2 runners. This is the roof. It's what's termed a migratory roof, and you'll see that it's got a recess in the top, and this can act as another floor, and I'll talk more about that when we go out into the apiaries and start putting some bees into these. But it's a really neat little concept. So we'll pop the roof to one side. These are the 2 sides, and you can see that they've got recesses in both sides of the end, and these are the long sides, and these just simply push into the recesses that are all the mouldings that have already been made for you. So you don't have to do any cutting, there's no work involved, and the only thing that I would recommend is that you use some glue to glue these together. You could push them, it's a really tight fit, you could push them together, and again, one of the really nice things about the construction is that the guys at Honey Paw have put some little contact buttons inside in the moulding, so that when you push them into position, these actually act as a further contact. If you glue them, then that's going to hold them really tightly. So let me just show you how they push together without glue. So we have one end, and this is the top, this is where the runners will fit, and they literally just push in. Now again, you could glue these if you wanted to, but if you cut them to just the right size, they will fit in nice and firmly. And the reason that I don't glue these into position anymore is that when we come to clean these, and we use washing soda to wash the insides with hot water, I can get a hive tool down the top and just push that out and clean behind it as well. So that's another useful feature. So then with the Honey Paw logo uppermost so that you can read the logo, these literally just push in. There's one. Honey Paw logo is going to be to the top, so this is the side view. So if you make sure that the logo is the right way round, and if we turn it round, you know, you can see that it's the wrong way round, so it will only go in one way. We'll push that one into place as well, and then the final end, again, we can pop our runner in, tight fit, slots in really well. Again, a pre-moulded slot there, there's no cutting, and again, as I say, you don't have to glue if you don't want to. And then finally pop this down on the top and just push down. You don't need to hammer them into position. Line them up so that they're in the right position, and then just use a little bit of weight to push down. and you can see that it's a tight fit. It's nice and secure. If you wanted to, you could put a batten across the top and just tap it with a hammer. But for me, pushing them in like that works perfectly. And there we've got our brood box. Now we will glue this, and we've got some glue to put in place before we again push it together, but I just wanted to show you how easy it is to push them together. So that will then sit on the floor, and if I just turn it to one side, you can see here we've got these little tabs which fit into the recesses on the side of the box. So these tabs will help you locate the brood box, the nuke brood box, onto the floor in the correct position. And really, all you then need to do is to put the frames in, and you can get those either ready-made or in kit form. The plastic ones will go straight in. So if we just take out the plastic one from here and slide that in, you can see that that fits in really simply, and we're ready to go. Okay, so we've put this together as a kind of construction just to show you how it goes together. What we're going to do now is just glue it together so that we're completely fixed. So we'll just move these out of the way. There's no gluing with either the floor or the roof, so I'll just move those out of the way. And I'm just going to pull this one apart again so you can see how tight they fit together, which is, you know, an absolute credit to the moulding. Get this apart. And I don't think actually, if you didn't glue it and you were just using it in the back garden, you wouldn't really need to glue it either. They are a really tight fit. However, better to be safe than sorry and have one of the sides pull apart while you're trying to move the bees. So I would always recommend that you glue it. So we're back with the two ends and the two sides, and the next task is to just glue them. And what you need is a glue that you can use with polystyrene. So this particular glue, let me just check on the label, it is a 5-minute polyurethane wood adhesive, and this will expand slightly, so you really don't need to use a great deal when you're gluing it. And so what we tend to do is run a small bead of glue around the edge at the end here, and a small bead of glue on these joints that push in, and then to activate the glue, we use a little bit of water. So we've got some water here, so we just wet inside these recesses and then put the glue on. So we'll just go ahead and do that now. It doesn't have to be soaking wet, just a little bit of water just to activate it. Now these nuke boxes will take 4 of the large brood frames, which is plenty to overwinter. We don't have any issues with overwintering our bees at all, and in fact some of them we have on 2 of the nuke boxes, so they've got 8 frames, and currently those bees are doing really well. So if you recall that this is going to be pushed in on that side. We want some glue on these opposing faces and into the joints. So that's where I'm going to put the glue. So the water's on this section, we're going to glue this side. Now because it's quite cold, this glue is quite viscous, quite thick. And once I've just put some glue on, I'll show you how much we're actually putting on, because it's really not much at all. So that is as much glue as you need to put on. Really don't need any more than that. So we'll do, remember we're going to be pushing this in here, so we'll do the other end once we've got this pushed in. I'll just put some water on this face and then we can push this one in. Make sure that it's really pushed together well. And then we can do the other side. Just make sure that we get the right end that we're going to put the glue on. And finally on the inside face. And those of you that have watched my videos in the past will know that I'm really not much good as a woodworker or a constructor of beehives. So if I can do this, then I'm sure that pretty much anybody can do it. So that's one end. So now we just need to do the other end. Just put some more water on these. Doesn't need to be much. So that's that one done. And then we can just pop some glue on this. So we're going to do both sides now. Because when we put the end on, it's going to push both of them in. And really with this glue, less is better than more, because if you put too much glue, you do run the risk of having the joints push apart because it expands as it sets, as it hardens. So if you put too much in, you'll find that it will kind of ooze out everywhere. So here we've got the end, it's the right way round, and then it's a case of just feeding the two joints into place and then pushing in. And because we've already pushed them in and then pulled them out again, it's an easy fit. They're recessed. What we could do is use a clamp just to pull it all together. So we've got some clamps. You don't actually need that, I don't think. It's a pretty tight fit anyway. But what I'll do is I'll just get a clamp and we'll pop a clamp around it, and you'll see how that then holds it all together. So I fitted one of the clamps, and these you can pick up from most good stores that do DIY type things. We're lucky because we've got Pete at the workshop here, and really this just tightens down by screwing in. Now don't over tighten it because you could end up damaging the polystyrene. Just enough to close any gaps that you might see in between the joints, but actually the fit is so good there really aren't that many gaps at all. So we now need to leave that to harden, and we'll come back at another point to paint them, and we're going to do that later in the week. But for now, we've got the only piece of construction that needs to be made. The rest is already pre-formed for you, so it's a really simple piece of kit. You can buy them ready-made for you, but to be honest, for the cost of postage, the cost of having somebody else do it for you, it's easier just to get it flat packed and then build it yourself. So we have our little nuke body that's been glued, so simple to push together. That, when it's all glued and painted, will fit nicely on top of the floor. These particular nukes have what's called a migratory roof, and the joints slot into the sides, and so you don't need a crown board or a cover board beneath them because it will simply prise off and there's no need for a cover board. I mentioned earlier that the roof forms a floor, so for versatility, if you wanted to split a colony, you could in fact use an additional body on top of that roof and create two completely separate colonies, and that's something that we're going to do with the nukes that we've currently got overwintering, because they're on two nukes with 4 frames in each. Once we get into the active season, we can split those. You can turn the roof around because it's got an entrance here. Then we've got an entrance at the back and an entrance at the front, and then when we split them, one colony will have a queen, the other colony will perhaps have a queen cell, and we can produce a new queen in a 4-frame nuke, and then those can go on to actually become colonies in their own right. But we'll cover that off in detail when we get out into the apiary once the active season gets going. We're mid-February at the moment and the season's not yet started, but from this point onwards we're going to create lots of boxes. We've got to make up all these boxes, get everything painted and have it all ready with frames to go for the new season so that we can create our new apiary. I hope you'll join me for that little adventure. It's going to be a season-long series of videos. My thanks to Honey Paw, who have provided me with all of this equipment to demonstrate to you. As I mentioned earlier, it's kit that I already use. It's kit that's available worldwide, but particularly here in the UK, you can get it from Paul Beardmore at Happy Valley Honey. If you go over to the website, you'll see all of the various bits of equipment that we've got that we'll be demonstrating through this season. And I'm really excited to see how all of this works and functions alongside some of the other equipment that we've got. Please do hit the subscribe button and the little alarm bell to sign up for notifications for each time we produce more of these videos. Have a look at our website where you can get lots more information and lots more links to other videos that we're producing through this season. And we'll catch up next time when we'll be looking at some of the other equipment, building that by pushing together these boxes and gluing them, and painting all of the equipment ready to go out into the hives. That's it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch up next time.